This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. St. Ann teen gets over 3 years in prison for illegal firearm. A teenager who pleaded guilty to illegal possession of firearm and ammunition was on Friday sentenced to 3 years and 2 months in prison when he appeared before the St. Ann Circuit Court. Nicholas McNamee, 18, who is from Draxall Country Club in St. Ann, was sentenced to 3 years and 2 months on 1 count of illegal possession of firearm and 2 years each on 2 counts of illegal possession of ammunition. High Court Judge Justice Andrea Pettigrew Collins ordered the sentences to run concurrently. McNamee was arrested following an operation along Newlyn Street in Ocho Rios on February 5 of this year. Police reports are that about 4:45 p.m. an operation was conducted during which an Axio motorcar in which McNamee and another male teen was traveling was stopped and searched. A 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 15 9mm rounds of ammunition was found, a police report said at the time. It is understood that a subsequent search was conducted at McNamee's home, which resulted in the seizure of more ammunition. McNamee, his mother, and another teen were subsequently arrested and charged. The prosecution, however, offered no evidence against the convict's mother and the other teenager, resulting in them being freed. CPFSA providing counseling for children in Bath, St. Thomas. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency on Friday provided trauma counseling to children in Bath, St. Thomas, amid growing anxiety following the abduction of 2 girls in the community. More than 30 children aged 6 to 17 years old received the counseling. Robert Williams, Regional Director of the CPFSA Southeast Region, told the news that some of the children have been severely impacted by the recent events in Bath.
It is without question that the children, particularly the children in Bath, are very, very fearful at this time. Imagine 2 children were kidnapped in recent times. So the fear factor is very high at this time, and some of them are not eating, some not sleeping. Yes, some don't want to go outside, and so on. So as an agency responsible for the welfare of children, this could not be happening and we just sit back. We had to do something. And we're saying it's not a one-off, but today we had a major one. But we have been in the community and will continue to work with the community until that they have gotten through this ordeal. It's not usual, it's very unusual. So at this time, the entire community is shaken, and so we are here to give support.
The St. Thomas police have been trying to find the suspect, Davian Bryan, since the first abduction on October 14. NEPA investigating fish kill in Portmore. The National Environment and Planning Agency is investigating the cause of a small fish kill in the community of Bridgeview in Portmore, St. Catherine. NEPA and the political representatives visited the area on Thursday following complaints from residents of the nearby Bridgeview community. Kenroy Gordon, chairman of the Disaster Committee for the Portmore City Municipality, told the news team that he observed dead fish in the Westerport and the Bridgeview communities.
We observed fish that are dead in the area of the Westport community and the Bridgeview community. We additionally went along the Dawkins Pond just to see how widespread this situation was. However, it was not noticeable in other areas, which included the Port Henderson Road area, otherwise known as Back Road. What has happened previously, since I have been the chairman of the disaster committee, is that whenever we receive the report and then we go and do an investigation, there was nothing normally found at the time. But this time there was evidence and there is enough to make some level of investigation and determination.
Althea Morrison, a resident of Bridgeview, said the fish kill is an annual problem that produces a foul odor and causes great discomfort for residents.
There is no particular month, but it happens yearly. This time, it's with the small fishes. Last year, we had bigger fishes. Some of the concerns are, why is it that this is happening? While it is that we're having a fish kill now, prior to that you do have something looking like a sewer that runs in between the waterway and then spread across, giving you that brown look. Now, when that doesn't happen, the water is very clear and beautiful, and the scenery is great. But is it that there is a breakdown of sewer, or there are maintenance issues? And if there are maintenance issues, why is it that it's a reoccurring problem?
Elderly St. Andrew man accused of shooting wife deemed unfit to plead. A 92-year-old man who reportedly shot and injured his wife at their home 2 years ago after allegedly hearing voices has been deemed unfit to enter a plea. The case against Vivian Rainford, who is charged with illegal possession of firearm and wounding with intent, was called up yesterday morning in the Home Circuit Court. At the time of the incident, the non-Nigerian was a licensed firearm holder. The court was informed that Rainford was evaluated by 2 psychiatrists. He was deemed unfit to plea by Justice Lorna Shelley Williams, who then made an order for guardianship for Rainford. The senior citizen's son, Errol, who had to assist his father as he made his way into the courtroom, was appointed by the court as his guardian after being sworn. A legal guardian is an adult vested by the court with the responsibility of facilitating the well-being of another person. Under the guardianship order, the son is being entrusted by the court to oversee his father's day-to-day care, take him for medical treatment, ensure that he is evaluated every 3 months by a psychiatrist, and that a report is submitted to the court's registrar. But if at any point the elderly man is deemed fit to enter a plea, the case is to be brought back before the court. Additionally, his case is to be reviewed by the court in the next 2 years. The judge noted that she thought long and hard about Rainford's fate in light of his inability to enter a plea. She said that she had to consider whether he should be remanded at the court's pleasure or to send him to a psychiatric facility or to make a supervision order where he would be appointed with a permanent probation officer. But after considering his age and the fact that being restricted to an institution would not be in his best interest, the judge said that she chose to go with the guardianship order. Rainford was arrested and charged in July 2019 after he reportedly shot his wife with a .38 revolver at their St. Andrew home. Attorney at law Matthew Hyatt represented him. JTA supports a phased resumption of face-to-face classes. The Central Executive of the Jamaica Teachers Association has given its support for a phased resumption of schools on a face-to-face basis. This position comes after a meeting held on Friday. The JTA has, however, stated that while it supports the phased resumption of face-to-face classes, the latter must be guided by the Disaster Risk Management Act. It also stated that the Ministry of Education must outline a structured resumption plan and that all schools must be provided with the required resources as stipulated by public health protocols. Although the government had hoped to resume face-to-face classes at the start of the 2021-2022 academic year in September, a rise in COVID cases island-wide saw the Ministry of Education extending virtual learning instead. At the time, Minister of Education Favour Williams said the online teaching and learning dynamic will continue until the country is able to once more handle the face-to-face component. The JTA in a release yesterday also shared that in the phased resumption of physical classes, priority must be given to students who are preparing for external exams. Holness urges the church leaders preaching against the vax to tread carefully. With some church leaders insisting that their congregants should refrain from taking the COVID-19 vaccines, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has urged the preachers to desist from engaging in that practice. Holness said church leaders should instead respect the personal choices of individuals who wish to get inoculated with the life-saving drugs. I would appeal to those persons who hold religious objections to taking the vaccines not to seek to impose them on people who you lead, Holness suggested. It is all good and well to stand on your pulpit and preach, but don't go further than that. Don't stop persons or make persons feel that they would betray the faith if they decide to take the vaccines, he added. The Prime Minister aired his views on the matter of religious influence on the vaccination process during a COVID-19 vaccination tour in northern Clarendon on Thursday. Holness deemed it unfair for religious leaders to impose their own beliefs on churchgoers who may want to get vaccinated against the novel coronavirus. You can have your religious belief, but it is not fair to impose that religious belief on the people who you are preaching to, because we are seeing and getting reports of persons saying, if they take the vaccine, they are betraying their pastor, he argued. It should instead be a conversation that, here is your religious position, spiritually, and being involved in a religious group always comes down to a personal choice, Holness contended. Further, he claimed that there are some clergymen and women who are very jealous of their right to preach their doctrines and their perspectives. Among it all, the Prime Minister suggested that religious leaders should seek to preach messages that will, among other things, elevate their church members. If you are a leader and you mislead your flock, it is a greater sin on you for misleading your flock, and I would encourage all leaders, especially those who stand on a religious platform, to ensure that they are genuinely and truly preaching a message that is going to elevate, uplift, and give knowledge to your flock so that your flock can survive, he advised. Western parishes record most road fatalities. Western parishes of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland have recorded the most road fatalities since the start of the year. According to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Transport and Mining, Western parishes account for 31% of the total number of fatalities recorded island-wide. St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Clarendon account for 22% of road fatalities, while St. Andrew North, St. Catherine North, St. Catherine South, and St. Thomas account for 23% of the road fatalities as at October 21, 2021. Portland, St. Mary, and St. Anne are responsible for 11% of road fatalities, while Kingston Central, Kingston Eastern, Kingston Western, St. Andrews Central, St. Andrews South account for 12%. Meanwhile, 366 people have been killed in 327 fatal crashes since the start of the year. When compared with the same period last year, the data shows a 1% increase in fatal crashes and fatalities. Vulnerable road users such as pedestrians, pedal cyclists, motorcyclists, and the pillion account for 64% of the road users killed as at October 21. It is against that background that the Road Safety Unit in the Transport Ministry is appealing to people who fall in this category to remain vigilant and exercise caution on the roads. Managers assigned to residential child care facilities to receive training. In keeping with the Child Protection and Family Services Agency's mandate to provide adequate care and protection for children in state care, more than 100 managers and senior members of staff assigned to residential child care facilities will participate in virtual sensitization training sessions up to December 2021. This was disclosed by Monitoring Officer in the Southern Region of the CPFSA, Julia Wesley Windham, during a recent interview with the news. According to Wesley Windham, over the 14-week period from September to December, the participants are exposed to training focusing on administration, child care practices, and the physical plant. The CPFSA knows how important are established and re-established partnership with the residential child care facilities. We have recognized that over the years, different managers are employed, the children themselves are different in terms of their behavior, so our focus on ongoing training is to ensure that the staff are familiarized with the standard of care, she said. The CPFSA's role is to monitor and supervise these homes to ensure that they are operated in accordance with the agency standard and that policies and protocols that govern the operation of the residential child care facilities are always adhered to. Wesley Windham pointed out that during these training sessions, the participants will be exposed to practical ideas such as alternatives to corporal punishment, how to minimize the possibility of physical plant damage happening, and the techniques on how to manage the different behavior patterns. In terms of administration, sometimes we think that everybody can supervise a child. That's not the case. Supervision of a child encompasses a whole bunch of different things, and it always depends on the age group, she highlighted. What you would do for a 5-year-old, which is to monitor when they are watching the television, you cannot do for the 12 years and older because they want to go online, they want to go on social media, and may fall victim to cyberbullying, she said, adding that if that is the case, we must help managers and the staff to understand how to supervise a child that is online while still ensuring that they still have some amount of privacy and autonomy. Wesley Wyndham also disclosed that an evaluation will be conducted at the end of each workshop in an effort to see how training can be enhanced. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.